Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus, where I'm like, dude, how have we not come... Oh, what? We've done it! Maybe? I don't know what the... We got a new pill that made us throw up, okay. Is that the achievement? I don't know, I unlocked almost every achievement in the game like 19 months ago, so it's hard to tell. We're Judas. It goes to the cathedral. But we don't need to worry about that. All we need to worry about is surviving temporarily until we can survive long term. Range down? You got it all wrong, Stephen Malkmus. It's you got to range life so you can settle down. How do you do, fellow teens? Okay. Dailies have been fine lately. We've won almost all of them. We've ranked middling to great, depending on the situation. Like, you know, we had one not so long ago where we kind of had to bail halfway through, but that's life. We didn't bail halfway through. We tried to do boss rush. We literally went further. Has anyone ever have to gone even further beyond? I don't remember the sentence. Watch out for this guy. He could one-tap you. Honestly, like 20% of people are not going to make it past this floor. Can we get a quick F in chat for the people who are going to get hit by a monstro shot with no possible telegraphing of the direction where the shot's going to go? Oh, Lord. Don't be prophetic, please. Alright. Spirit Heart. Let's actually go. I'm not going to say that it was a good thing for us to get hit, but it reminded us, you know, even a god can bleed. I've seen 300. I don't need to go to history class. I'm very familiar with the story of Xerxes, the 9-foot-tall god king. Don't forget about Leonidas, shredded king of the Spartans. And of course, there's the weird dude who is like, look, you're gonna think this is an insulting thing to say, but there was special effects in that movie. You know, that weird hunchback dude who was like made out of molded Play-Doh? Like, that dude was not real, okay? I want to see Frank Miller's research and analysis. Because I'm telling you, I don't believe that there was a man who looked like Sloth from the Goonies. Yo. Is today like, it's January 4th, International Technology Day? Or something like that, or, you know, you never know, I guess, if it's just a coincidence. Look, I'm not trying to say there's not hideous people in the world. You know, we've all accidentally opened our phones when it's on front-facing camera. We all realize that we're hideous, you know? What you see versus what she sees, etc., etc. I'm familiar with all the memes. I'm just saying, go look up a picture of that guy and tell me he actually existed in the real world. I don't know where else I'm going with this. Just allow me my 300 bits, okay? I'll have you know I was 18 years old in my first year of college. 2 big movies came out when I was in the dorms. You know what the movies were? The first one was Borat. Very nice! Every 2 seconds, you know, and that's why I respect that joke even to this day. Every 2 seconds in the dorms, you know, this is my wife, Pamela! And then everyone would laugh uproariously, myself included, because I wanted to fit in. That's Tech 2. We're not going to take it. We don't need it. I'm happy with what we got. And then 300. So everybody that, you know, had a rippling physique went as the Spartans for Halloween that year. There were literally 300 Spartans. But this time, they outnumbered everybody else in their ill-advised, perhaps culturally insensitive costumes. Anyway, where am I going with this? I don't know. We're a long way from Halloween. I think we should go for Deals with the Angel as of right now. And just get the heck out of town. So far, so good. Allow me to caffeinate. Curse of the Maze, way ahead of schedule. Like, we're in a pretty good spot. Where does a cathedral run go? I hate to tell you this, because I mean, I hate to tell you this, but I hate to do this way more. Dude, Betrayal kind of sucks. Not the board game, it's a classic, but I'll take this, but still. We gotta go to delirium. And we're supposed to not fight void. Or we're supposed to not fight delirium on the void, I should say. Will I? I don't know. It depends how things go. Can I tell you? So I love board games. I'm not trying to be gatekept. I'm very likely to be gatekept here because I play board games probably once every 6 weeks. But you know from watching my content probably that I'm a pretty mechanics-driven guy. For the most part, I have to be tricked into caring about lore. And board games are straight mechanics, 100%. For the most part, at least. This is a secret room for certain. So I can respect board games, but I do have a bone to pick with board games, okay? There has to be a better way to play a board game for the first time than to just dump the instruction manual on one person who's never played before and have them read the entire thing out loud to the whole table, okay? I'm happy to be the guy who reads it. And I try, you know, I read through the whole manual, and then I go, you know, I try to figure out how to explain it as quickly as possible, but also, like, as rigorously as possible. There's a great game called Fog of Love. It's a 2-player game. And it had like 40 cards that played the game for you the first time you play it. So it would be like, hey, draw this card. So you draw off of that pile. I can't believe I didn't get hit there. And then it explains what's happening while you're playing. It's like it's an amazing tutorial. Now I understand, like, that's, you know, it's not that easy as just implement that in every single video game ever, but I was thinking specifically of Betrayal at Baldur's Gate, which we played last year. Great game, had a wonderful time. If you're not familiar with Betrayal, it starts as like a dungeon crawling cooperative game, but then at some point enough of this one event gets triggered, and the person who triggered the last one becomes the nemesis for the rest of the game. But every single time that it happens, there's a different, like, scenario. So you have to read through the book. The person who becomes the nemesis goes to a different room to read, like, what their victory conditions are, what their abilities are, etc., etc., etc. It's really unique, and simultaneously, playing one game of it takes, like, you know, 8 hours. Maybe 8 hours is a little bit of an exaggeration, but you get the idea. It takes a long time. It's the reason that I don't play board games, and I'll tell you, this is sacrilegious. We got The Binding of Isaac 4 Souls in the mail. I heard it's extremely good. I haven't played it. Kate's asked if I wanted to play it a couple of times, but I'm like, you know, she asked me at like 9 p.m. I'm like, I don't know. It might take an hour just to set it up for the first time and learn how to play. It's kind of it's not a huge time investment, but, you know, I'm always down if someone's like, hey, do you want to play Catan? I already know how to play it. Hey, do you want to play Scrabble? I mean, of course. I mean, it's kind of like a, dare I say, it's a normie board game, but, you know, I love Scrabble. I think it's a classic. Give me Scrabble over, like, freaking Sorry any day of the week. But, there's got to be a better way, you know, to make board games a little easier to learn. Especially, like, I don't know about you guys, but this is, like, I think, ironically, there's, like, a design problem with the genre. With the medium, even, I should say. Which is that, you know, it's hard to get people together to play them, for the most part, unless you make specific time. And then beyond that, when we get together, you know, we play a new board game, 40% of the time to 75% of the time is just learning and explaining the rules. And then we might never play the game again. I'm not saying it's an unsolvable problem. I'm just saying it's a bummer, man. It has me feeling hesitant about playing board games. I guess at some point the idea is you would just learn every board game. I mean, there was like a period between like, I don't know, the year 1998 and 2008, where one board game came out, Catan. And I don't care, you're going to be like, oh, Puerto Rico came out, Carcassonne came out. No. Pre-1998, there was just Monopoly, Yahtzee, and Scrabble. Those were the 3 board games. 13 Dead End Drive tried. Mousetrap tried. They didn't reach cultural nascence. Then Catan came out. Everybody learned Catan. And we were like, okay, we're good. Since 2008, 14 trillion board games have come out. And it's an amazing thing. It's the renaissance of that industry. A lot of those games are amazing. They're so well designed. I just wish that I could learn them and explain them to a room of 5 people faster. You're welcome to, or I welcome you to disagree with me here, by the way. That's not a challenge. You know, a lot of our friends are really into board games, but most of them, at least as adults, have like the same complaint, or a similar complaint. Like Pandemic Legacy. Amazing game. If you're not familiar, it takes the game Pandemic, where you're trying to stop like diseases from spreading, which kind of plays like Forbidden Island if you've ever played that. But then it adds like an XCOM style strategy layer on top of it with persistence, and you're meant to play like, you know, there's 12 unique months that have different situations in them, and, you know, depending on what happens, you open up certain dossiers, and it's got a real nice tactical sort of like, you know, loot box feel, but it's one flat price. The problem is, it's an hour per month. You gotta get together with friends 12, 13 times to play it. You know, it's just, as adults, it's hard to find that kind of time. You know, you play a board game once, you gotta go to these people like, hey, what do you think? Do you want to meet the third Friday of every month for the next year to play this? You're like, well, I like it, but I don't know if I like it that much. I thought it was worth a shot, and you know what? I don't disagree right now. This run is totally fine. You know what? And feel free to take this idea. Because, I'm one of those guys who believes that for the most part, ideas are pretty bad. Or not worth much. Every board game should come with, like, a link. And some of them do, I'll admit. Every board game should come with, like, a link to a YouTube video that just plays the game for you for the first game while explaining it. There's actually, there's this really, really famous co-op game called Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective. And Kate and I, you know, we would play it, but it always felt a little awkward because it starts, you have to read so much, which is fine. You know, I'm a decent reader. I finished Slaughterhouse 5 literally last night. I mean, it's not a particularly long book, but, you know, at what age do you stop looking to the length of a book as indicative of its merit? I'm looking for what to read next. I don't know. I gotta be honest. I was 70-30 on Notes from Underground, but I might go back and read the Brothers Karamazov. You know, see if maybe there was just something I was missing from that one, and go for something a little more prodigious, perhaps. Where was I going with this? Anyway, in the old version of the game, every case opens with you reading, I don't know, maybe like a 8 to 9 minute story. So, I mean, especially if you're in a group of like 5 or 6 people, it's like I don't want to say a party atmosphere, but like a social atmosphere, to focus on one person speaking for 8 or 9 minutes straight at the start of a game, it's kind of a big ask. In the more modern releases, they did something I thought was really smart. They recorded like a voice actor doing it, and you can just scan a QR code and get it on your smartphone. You know, that's the kind of modernization. I don't want all board games to necessarily be, you know, neutered in favor of their digital counterpart. But, you know, use the technological revolution to make the process a little easier. Like, I love board games, and I know I've been talking about this for like 12 minutes now, but they do have some problems. That's why I love a game with low setup and low teardown. If a game takes half an hour to set up, I'm out. If a game takes, you know, under 5 minutes to set up, I'm 100% in. That's why I like, I mean, Catan is pretty good for that. Jaipur, Splendor, etc., etc. So we're taking the key piece just to get better angel chances in the future. I mean, this run is like, we don't even want this other stuff. This run is clearly fine. We're going to do boss rush as well. The problem is, how are we going to do delirium? I don't know. But I also don't think I've been hit for like 3 floors. It seems like a very good start. No, stay away. Anyway. I recognize, by the way, that I'm not trying to come at the board game community. We play board games on the NLSS all the time. I love good digital board games. Mysterium's what's the word I'm looking for here? Its digital version is pretty good. That's a fun game. No thank you. Even, what was that game? I want to call it a Hard West. Colt Express, that's it. Hard West is the XCOM, like, from Funcom, whatever the publisher's called, I don't remember. Even that's quite good. Now, I'll tell you, there are no words for my disappointment when I booted up Pandemic, a co-op video game from the same developers, and I went, cool, I did the tutorial, where's the online? And they were like, there is no online. There's hot seat multiplayer. Why? Why? There are so many baffling board game ports. I don't know if there's like not enough money in it or whatever, but it's, you know how, you know, as gamers, we're like, just get it in tabletop sim. It's like the developers are like the same. They're like, don't waste your money. They're just gonna play it on tabletop sim anyway. Anyway, I digress. I'm very happy for the board game renaissance. I've taken advantage of some of those games in the board game renaissance. I just also, I find myself getting annoyed time to time. It's just as I get older. I think it's, you know, my parents have been here. I've been talking with them. And they're like, you know, as you get older, people tend to become a little bit less patient. They tend to, you know, their tolerance for new things goes down a little bit. Not like in a social way. I mean like for new experiences. And it sounds like a bad thing, and I think it is. But I'm also like, dude, I will have people in my chat be like, oh, I don't want to take 30 seconds to try out a new board game. I don't like new things. And I'm like, dude, I've talked to this chat before. I know the vast majority are, you know, relatively well adjusted. But there's like 15% of people here that only eat chicken fingers. And I was like that too when I was younger. But don't lecture me about new experiences if you're eating dinosaur chicken nuggets for every meal. That's all I'm saying. Also, stop that. They're not even good chicken nuggets. At least get some adult chicken nuggets is all I'm saying. Like some chicken nuggets, you know, with some Jack Daniels in the barbecue sauce. That's how you know it's an adult food. Is when they start to waste alcohol by needlessly adding it into a sauce for brand recognition. Yes, I'm looking at you, TGI Fridays. And Red Robin and Chili's. And Montana's, which is a Canadian chain, but I think at least, ironically enough. It's just something, you know, I've sampled all of these adult beverage brands. I promise you that. No tower, please. Joker. Let's do it. We will definitely take the ability to fly. We're going to get, you know what? We might get the deal with the devil naturally. So I think I'm just going to leave. And then I want to play the blood bank and the... Oh, we already had the HP from the judgment, but you don't necessarily... It's not that it doesn't add anything. I just think that when you go to TGI Fridays and they go, it's the Jim Beam Southwest Black Bean Chipotle Burger, you're paying more for the Jim Beam than it's paying you. You know what? I think I will, son. Come on, work with me here. Fair enough. I just don't think it adds enough to justify, you know? I've done the beer can chicken. I would recommend that in a heartbeat, you know? It's basically just an easy way to baste the chicken while cooking so that it maintains a certain level of juiciness. Polaroid, please. I've also done, you know, proptosis for sure. I've marinated steaks in beer or like, you know, some kind of whiskey, emulsification, and, you know, it doesn't have to happen. It's a brand recognition thing. Like, you don't need to eat a Jägermeister venison sausage. Just get the Jaeger on the side. Treat yourself. No, okay, I shouldn't be standing there. Still, we are a couple of thousand points ahead of where we would normally expect to be. I think we are actually... I mean, it's an easy run, don't get me wrong, but I think we're looking at a double-digit finish for sure. Especially if we do Void, which, I mean, doesn't really seem like a challenge at all. Delirium will be annoying. I mean, keep in mind we're doing Hush as well, so please stop taking damage. Another legitimate defensive item would be nice. But we can also just get, like, a Hierophant card. Because we have Tarot Cloth. That would probably give us enough gas to last for quite some time. But, you know, we have one more item coming up. Face me. Face me. I don't think it's going to be too long for that item to show up either. Sorry, what I meant to say is, I think it's not going to be a long, long time. You know, I've been thinking a little bit about the genre. Yeah, why not? The genre of movie known as a musical biopic or biopic. Walk the Line, Ray. Bohemian Rhapsody, which has been a startling box office success. There's an Elton John one coming out called Rocket Man. You always have to name the musical biopic, by the way, after a song that appears in the movie. Preferably a song that's very well known. The only difference is Ray. You couldn't well call the movie Georgia on My Mind, you know? Is strange to me. Because, you know, everyone likes stories about stuff they're familiar with. No doubt about it. I have some musical biographies. You know, I have some books about bands that I like. You know, we kind of live in an era where the bookstore has gone not quite extinct. And actually, you know, physical book sales I read are actually on their way up. When I moved to Vancouver, there was a huge Indigo Books, which is the Canadian Barnes & Noble, sort of. And it shut down in, like, 2014, and everyone was like, sign of the times. They just reopened another one. It's like it's a startling success story. Now, I got no hard feelings for, you know, Indigo to begin with. It's a corporate giant, right? But either way, it's cool that it's coming back, but you want a sign of the times? In like 2005, our local bookstore was so huge, I was able to, just like window shopping, find the biography about the, you know, not little known, but not that popular band, Guided by Voices. And I didn't even bat an eye. Now that's the kind of thing you'd be like, I gotta order that on Amazon. Back then, I just walked in, and I was like, oh. I forget what it was called. Hunting songs, something like that. But I feel like for every, and this is, I'm not asking for much, okay? For every movie about a musician, there should be a song about a movie. And I'm not talking about a song from a movie. I don't think that counts. I'm talking about, you know, in the same way that Slint's Good Morning Captain is inspired by the rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. I want a song like that, but for Magic Mike. And Pony by Genuine does not count, although it still does bang. Bow, 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 bow. Do it yourself. You can... I need someone to sing the high part. You know, me and Robert could do a good duet of that. I'll be the guy who goes bow, 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 and then he can be the guy who goes, I'm just a bachelor looking for a partner. See, I can't even come close to hitting those notes. The thing is, he's looking for somebody who knows how to ride without having to fall in love. Now, we would love one more book. We gotta pick our battles on this run, because we're doing all of the hard battles. Do we care about exploration bonus? I mean, we probably should right now. We also wouldn't mind something that makes the delirium fight easier. I'll sack a spirit heart here. By which I basically mean mapping, so that we have an idea of what boss fight is which. I have to apologize again. I can feel my voice getting a little hoarse. It's these cats, dude. They're in their terrible teens. It's not like having a baby. I'm not saying it's that hard. But again, you know, at least a baby is like the fruit of your loins, you know? These cats are a whole different species. Love them though I do. I don't fathom why they choose to make so much noise at night for reasons unbeknownst to me. During the daytime, I mean, I know they're... Yeah, cats are like nocturnal-ish. I don't know if they're fully nocturnal. I'm not a cat whisperer like Jackson Galaxy. But they, you know, without giving you too much information, I can tolerate low sleep, even though I also love to sleep. But there's two things that go. The first thing that goes is my voice. The second thing that goes, and this is TMI, gastrointestinal comfort. You know, under 6 hours of sleep, little scratchy voice, some light gut bubbles. Under 4 hours of sleep, I am mute-ish, and I would spend like an hour in the morning on the toilet, given the opportunity to do so. I don't know what it is. You know, I know scientists are still undecided about the, you know, why do most mammals or all mammals but a couple sleep, or all look. Again, I am opening myself up to this lull bio major sort of discourse. I just feel the need to say, you know, in my biology classes, you know what we did not have a class on? You know, Bio 109, do all mammals sleep? What did we learn? Mostly how to use, how to culture agar plates, and what the difference between a liverwort and a hornwort is. That's my degree. That and doing Punnett squares. Regardless, I'm just saying, the scientists should focus their efforts on the lower, like the large intestine, and also the pharynx and the larynx, is my 2 cents. I've also been having, like, I have been dreaming, like, non-stop lately. It's crazy. They're always nightmares, No deal with the devil? But they're not like the kind of nightmares where it's like, you know, your skin's melting off. Like the last night I dreamt that like Thanos was on Earth. And he was just running buck wild. That's, I mean, from a dream context, it's pretty bad. Because you're like, the universe is going to end. But when you wake up, you know, it's not the kind of dream that's going to stick with you. Where you're like, man, sorry, boss, I've just been in a funk today. Oh, why is that? I dreamed Thanos was coming to Earth. You know, like, he's going to send you away for leave. No! But even still, you know, I've been having these dreams. I've been waking up and going like, I did use the space bar on the way in, you idiot. I've been waking up in a cold sweat, and then Kate's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, Thanos! You know, I don't know. I've been having these weird nightmares. I think I said it in an earlier Isaac episode, but for like a week, I was having nightmares that were like almost exclusively tied together by the theme, all of my friends hate me. It was another good week of dreams. NL, that wasn't a dream. No, stop, Thanos. Like, I would just, you know, it'd be like my friend's bachelor party, and I'd show up, and they'd be like, oh, it's Ryan. By the way, we just invited you here to tell you that none of us ever liked you, and we just sort of pretended to be your friend for 10 years as a joke. And I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know if that's a nightmare or a dream. It's a nightmare because it feels bad, but it's a dream because it would be a great banter topic for the show. So I'm willing to make a sacrifice of that level. I don't know what it is. It's not really having an adverse effect on my life, but occasionally it has, you know, put me in a heightened state of alertness before trying to fall back asleep after the cats wake me up, you know? And I don't know what it is, like. I used to dream. I mean, like, I feel like as a teenager, I dreamt, like, every other night. And then as an adult, I would have a dream that I remembered, like, once a week or less. Now, it's literally for, like, 3 weeks straight. Every night, my brain is like, I'm chunking through some stories here. Just as I will never apologize for something that I do in a dream, I will never apologize for the dreams I have. I have no, you know, is it embarrassing for a 30-year-old man to dream about a nightmarish comic book movie character? No. You know why? Because it's a friggin' dream, dude. I don't have any control over it. If I did, you know, if I could choose my dreams, I would be not dreaming about Thanos. At least he would have his shirt off, is what I'm trying to say. Now, we are going to stick with Satanic Bible. Why even take pause button then? Well, I thought it would be useful against delirium. Or sorry, against Hush, until I ruined it. I really think that on today's daily, it's extremely tough for us to not be super well ranked. We have taken very little damage. We've been fast. The only room I'm unhappy with is Boss Rush. That was also bad right there. We could have done a lot better on Boss Rush. But, I mean, we got through it in like 2 minutes, and we took a little bit of damage. Who cares? So if we fight delirium early, I'll probably call it right there. I'm not really worried about, you know, on the void, I don't care about exploration bonus. I just hate this floor, and, you know, part of this new year, new me is like, you know, I don't want to force myself to do these stupid things in Isaac that I dislike and have done 1,000 times already. I think that's relatively fair. Just to, what, get a slightly higher rank on the daily? Didn't you hear, man? Greed Butt's going away. Just for bragging rights. But I still think, you know, as of today, or for today's daily, we're probably going to end up... I mean, I would be surprised if we were not top 100. It's not a super difficult daily that we managed to, you know, destroy. So I think that, you know, I don't feel comfortable predicting, like, a top 25 finish. But I will say, I don't think there's a whole heck of a lot of room for improvement. You never know. You know, on any run with Tarot Cloth, you know, a single 2 of diamonds could be worth like 1,000 points. But I think we can definitely be pretty happy with today's run. Fate's Reward even is like more damage than we've had in a lot of our runs to begin with. Small rock? So I'm not going to pick it up. Don't shoot the messenger. Because at this point, you know, the item bonus is starting... Ah! You son of a gun. At this point, the item bonus is starting to become meaningful. I can't believe we have not seen a single boss yet. This is most likely to not be delirium. My confused friend. No thank you. This is most likely to be delirium out of the 2 that we had there. Well, what can when you're right, boys. No, Laser Man. I was like, I scored a direct hit. Can somebody explain to me why I've done no damage? I mean, this dude has spider mod indicators popping out of his skull. Whoa! One heck of an umbilical cord there, Stretch Armstrong. Sending those nutrients long distance. Yes. No, we're immune to the foot damage, but should never have been there in the first place. Alright, well, it's a harder fight than I would have expected. I kind of expected to stomp a little bit. And we're not doing badly. But it's definitely taken us longer than I'd like to have done the damage that we've done. And oh well about that. Remember, even if we rank poorly, we get incredible honorable points today for deliberately making things harder on ourselves. I just, like, I don't min-max the dailies 100%. I skip, you know, useless items, which I wouldn't do on a normal run, probably. And then, you know, I'll make some other optimizations for score, but I never want to just quit the run. Like, that leaves a bad taste in my mouth. To be like, hey, you know this good run? Well, you know, if we just Alt F4 now, we'll get more points. That seems like gaming the system, which is fine. That's a Bill Belichick move. That's all I'm saying. Look, if I was an NFL coach, I got two rules for you. 1, never spike the ball, never take a knee. 2, never punt. Think of all the money we would save by never hiring a punter, and instead just paying our quarterback 25% more. Genius. I'm out, boys. That's a totally acceptable score in rank. 46th. Little post-Isaac stretch. Just a solid run front to back. For now, thanks for watching. Because if you enjoyed the episode, if you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. And follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Northernlion to be notified when I go live in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya!